Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yo.
Is Leo coming on before we hop?
There we go.
Start? There he is.
I just put mine on too for the culture.
Hey, it's the hoodie. It's the hoodie of knowledge.
Hey, look, man. Let me tell you.
All the sages wear hoodies.
That was a do-rag of knowledge.
When Zoro wears it.
Yeah. No, that's just a do-rag of power.
That's do-rag of power.
That's the
This man Holland is a ninja.
Is Holland in here?
Yo.
Oh, there he is.
You ready?
Let's get it.
Oh, wow. You all make me look bad because I don't have my camera on.
That's your
I don't own a camera.
Yo. You know what it is. It's Friends on a Rampage. I got my boy Chris in here. You know what I'm saying?
Y'all beautiful people doing out there today. I hope y'all doing good.
I got my boy Jawan, of course.
What they do, baby? I hope y'all having a great day so far.
And my boy Leo in here. You know what I'm saying?
Yo.
No camera, but he's still here.
He's
All right. All right, y'all ready? All right, so today we're going to be talking about a pretty controversial topic. What are you talking about? Well, we're going to start with Avatar: The Last Airbender and whether or not it's an anime. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Personally, I say it's a cartoon, right? Personally, because it was made in America, just because it was maybe based in, like the Asian countries. I feel like that doesn't make it just an anime. I feel like that's what a lot of people use as a reason. Mm-hmm. But I can see when people say it's an anime, where they're coming from. So, but that's just me. You know what I'm saying? Juwan, how you feel about it?
No, I agree. I think it's definitely a cartoon, but it's also debatable. I would say it's inspired by anime. I will say that. But I just consider it a cartoon based on the channel it was on. If it was on Nickelodeon, I consider it a cartoon.
Facts. Chris, how you feel?
I was just going to say it's made by an American studio, so therefore it's not quote-unquote anime. So, and I won't say based off a station, because if it was based off a station, we had some animes that were like, we had the new Speed Racer, even though it wasn't all that good, that was on Nickelodeon, but that was 100% from a Japanese studio.
Fair.
From what I remember, it might not be. I might be 100% wrong on that.
Okay, like, that is a fair point. You're saying
if it comes from a Japanese studio, it would be an anime. If it comes from an American studio, no matter if it's Asian based or not, it is a quote unquote cartoon. In my opinion, all that shit's a cartoon any fucking way. We just call it different shit because we ain't got shit better to do.
Sure not.
Is that what it is? We gotta. No, that's fair. I mean, okay, so is it if it's an anime, right? Why is it that when I Google it, you feel me, it come up American cartoon? I feel like that's just step one, Mm-hmm. If it's that's all I'm saying. I know it's the anime style, but I feel like at the end of the day, even though it's that style, I just feel like they just took some. I feel like if you take one form of like whatever makes an anime and put it into something that doesn't like essentially make it anime, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I got that. I've always saw it as like the art style. That's what counts as anime. Like I understand there's the idea that it comes from like Japan's or any other Asian country, so it's anime there. But I don't know, I've always saw it as like the art style because cartoons have like, of course, like the like not childish, but like not proportional. You know what I mean? Like look at SpongeBob, like it's a square, thin lines for arms and legs, and if you look like an anime, it's kind of somewhat human proportional.
You mean like how lines and whatnot?
Yeah.
I mean, like even the facial expressions and things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
I was about to say someone can't. I was just looking in the comments. Someone just brought up a good question talking about what if it's Americans making it in a Japanese studio?
Yeah, so it count as an anime.
It would still count as anime.
I said that, yeah.
I say it so as well.
Okay, that's a fair point. Okay, well, okay, question then. Like, with that being said, if I were to make like a cartoon, because if you ask the creators, like, oh no, it's like a cartoon, like, you know, it's inspired by it, but it's still a cartoon. Would you say like, oh, forget what the author, you know, the directors or whoever making this say? It's you know, it is what it is because it has those different. You know what I'm saying?
I would change my opinion of it if like the creator came out, like just said out loud, it was just like, oh no, that ain't an anime, that's a cartoon. Then I'm like, all right, bet that's a cartoon. That's what the creator wants. That's what the creator wants. That's his like, that's his creation.
He's the creator.
Yeah.
But that's how I feel. But a lot of people, like, you know, the idea behind like death to an author, like just because he put this doesn't actually mean that, you know what I'm saying, maybe he messed up in trying to explain the message. He sort of like messed up or didn't convey it in a correct manner. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck?
Yeah, that's what I said. That's what I said because I learned about that as recently. Fair point. Dark Tajiro is a Black-owned anime studio in Japan. That's cool. But okay, so
it is Black anime, in my opinion.
Okay, right. Okay. So okay, does anybody have anything to say? Anybody want to come in, voice their opinion or anything about whether or not what they think it is, or maybe put it in the comments? I don't know. I just feel like I call it a cartoon, but if you say it's an anime, I'm not gonna like deny it. Like, oh yeah, it's just not. I say I see where you're coming from. You know.
I need to hit you out.
Then it's like, yeah. Are we gonna move to another example of it, or? So I kind of want to mention something too, because like some of these.
Go ahead.
Because I was doing my research for this, and I realized that like like the Boondocks episodes, they were
good point.
They were produced by Studio Mir and Moi Animation, which is like companies in Japan. So it's like, I guess this is based on where the cartoon is coming from. Like if it's the anime is coming from, like if it's in America, we think of it as like, you know, cartoon, but it's Japan anime. Boondocks kind of like, it's like, yeah, you can call it an anime because you want to be technical. It is, the company was produced in Japan, and they do make other shows too. That's just one example that I thought about. And he also produced some episodes of Korra in Avatar Last Airbender. So I find that very interesting. Like, I want to consider it anime, but it's like, I don't know. I didn't think of it as an anime.
So I was just gonna say this real quick with that one, because you said a couple episodes were made.
Like, I feel like okay, my bad. So Moi Animation produced season 2 and 3, and then Mir produced season 4.
Is Mir Japanese owned, or is it based off of America?
It's Japanese.
So according to you, the only season that would be considered a cartoon would just be season 1.
No, my bad. Season 1 was also made by Moi. So season 1 was Moi. Season 2 and 3 were Moi Animation, and season 4 was Studio Mir.
So all the studios that basically made the Boondocks were all in Japan and made with Japanese techniques and stuff like that, basically.
Yeah.
Then it technically would be considered an anime, unless the creator himself, who made the comics, like, nope.
Oh, hey, we have somebody in the chat who wants to talk.
There you go.
Oh, let him in.
Okay. Let's see what you got to say.
He says, if something is made with Japanese style and influence, could we call it an anime like Boondocks, Legend of Korra, etc.? Does American things made in anime style count as anime?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, like the Marvel anime stuff. Oops, chat was going too fast.
Man, how you let these people in? Because I'm not about to do all this reading.
Well,
there it goes.
Go for it, Paul.
So yeah, basically all I was gonna ask is like, so if something like, let's just like, I'm looking at two ends of the spectrum, right? Let's say if we got something that's American made, right? Nothing but American hands touched it. However, all these dudes grew up doing is watching anime. All they influence from anime. They consultant anime directors. For all intents and purposes, this is an anime, except not a single Japanese hand touched it. Are we gonna count that as anime? And things I'm looking at like Boondocks or like Legend of Korra, things where there are a lot of things influenced directly from anime. And then on the reverse side, let's say if you take something like Marvel anime, where they took a completely American property and then just boop, moved it to Japan and made some Japanese dudes, animate it. Now is that anime? Well, how are we gonna rule that?
I would say when it comes to they took an American property, took it over to Japan and made it in their own way, shape, and form. That's anime at that point in time. But if it's just someone who's heavily influenced on the style, but it's not really a Japanese product, it's an American product heavily based off of a Japanese theme and not directed by Japanese, not directed by a certain people of that culture, but as far as they heavily influenced, it's a very Eastern themed cartoon.
That's a fair point. I see. Okay, when it comes to like that type of situation, I feel it's simply just like when there is no like balance, like to where I can say, oh well, no, it's just a cartoon, it just has that in it, or like because it definitely go like that. For example, Avatar and like the Boondocks, especially like cross the line where it's like, when is it anime or is it a cartoon? Like when is it not? When is it? I would say it's based, like I say, based on the person who made it. So you're saying, oh, if the person who made it, like, oh well, this is just this straight up manga, like, this is from a manga, this is the anime, it is what it is. Then it's like, okay, you can't really, I feel like you can't knock the person who made it. I mean, I know that's like cop out answer, because like, well, if they said it, this has to be so. But that's just how I feel. But at the same time, like you say, if it's somebody like literally the Boondocks, the scene where Stink Meter's crew comes back, right? And they're beating up on Riley and Huey. They take a scene straight from Naruto where Orochimaru was fighting Sasuke in the Forest of Death. And it's like that whole scene where he does like the continuous of punches. That's literally taken from Naruto. So like that's why a lot of people bring up the fact like, oh, Avatar is anime, stuff like that. I'm like, well, does anybody ever bring up the fact that the Boondocks literally like took scenes straight out of anime, but nobody ever really talks about it. So I just feel like at that point is whether or not you want to listen to like the person who made it, or if you want to just consider it under whatever your own umbrella is of what is or not. That's just how I feel.
I kind of want to address what Player 5 asked. It's a good question. Do a Netflix anime count? In my opinion, yes. Like I'll use a couple for example. I think Cannon Busters is a good anime. I like it. I kind of count that, especially.
I like Cannon Busters,
especially because LaShawn Thomas produced it, and he was heavily, he was heavily in the products when it came to like Boondocks, Black Dynamite. So at least he knows his stuff when it comes to anime. So I'll give that one Netflix anime count. Other one I was thinking is Beastars, but I don't know. I don't know about that.
Beastars, no, I think it's an actual manga, if I'm correct.
Yeah, it's a manga.
I was gonna say, we all know my favorite anime,
Baki the Grappler.
That's 100%. That's 100% anime. There is no denying that one. But I'm pretty sure Netflix has their own Japanese studios working on certain different shows. I'm pretty sure they do. I'm pretty sure it's not just all Americans, just like, all right, look at this Japanese stuff. get somebody who could draw really like that. Like I'm pretty sure it's some they have studios and certain directors and stuff going on along with that whole project.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I do consider like Netflix animes do count because I ain't gonna lie, some Netflix animes are legit. I'm not gonna lie.
What was the recent Netflix anime that came out? I'm trying to think.
I mean, like B for Beginning for one. Somebody said in the comment that's definitely Netflix anime type. I mean, even like the Studio Bones, like they make a lot of stuff that's up on Netflix. But see, the thing is, a lot of those. See, I'm not gonna lie. I haven't really read like a lot of manga because I was more of like I'm just gonna watch it and be good type stuff. But
you're missing out.
I look. I came around. All right, I came around. Look, so somebody was telling me it's like Tokyo Ghoul. They were like, oh well, it's better in the manga, and I was like, man, like, stop telling me to read like the manga. I should be able to read both, or like read it or watch the anime, and it should be both like the same. It should be the same, right? It's not.
Mm-hmm. No,
that's when I came.
Adaptation.
Like I was already starting to read more of it, but like once that came out, I was like, oh, maybe I need to read more manga, like way more than I'm reading it now. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's Netflix. Netflix animes definitely count. Or Netflix is going to create it. I swear, Netflix calls them. Oh, I didn't know that.
Netflix does count them as like it's a next exclusive. Yeah, I just find that kind of weird. It's like it makes it sound like it's a Netflix original, but it's like we know it's not. I guess it is like what how's a good way to explain it?
7 Deadly Sins is a Netflix.
When I first saw that, I was like, well, it doesn't make any sense. I remember reading the manga, like, how is it a Netflix original?
Because right, it's ours.
Yeah, so that makes sense. It's just like they put their branding on it, like, oh yeah, we totally like made this. We nudge. Right. But okay, somebody said if we have American manga, why does the fact that something is American negate the possibility of it being an American anime? While that is a good point, we're not calling it an American anime. That's the thing. It's categorized as a cartoon. So where do we go from there? Because I feel like a lot of things are essentially categorized pretty well. They like, okay, you got the Bugs Bunny and all that. That's like the cartoon. And then you just got the anime, which is like Japanese, cartoons. But I mean, of course, you could say the whole like, oh well, cartoons is cartoons. It doesn't matter. It's just saying cartoon in a different language or a different, culture and whatnot. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I feel like it's just based on, like, I think it's just based on who made it, like the creator of it. But then again, like that's the author, right?
I was gonna hop in and just say, when it comes to like, they said that we have American mangas, and I'm just like, are you just saying that based off the art style? Because at one point in time, really, we were just calling comic books, like we was calling, like over here in America, we were just calling Japanese manga, Japanese comic books. Mm-hmm. So to us, that was a Japanese comic book, and then they changed over to manga. So I'm just thinking it's just a name difference. I'm not thinking it's nothing really different about it at all, other than we just dropping a whole different name difference.
So basically, you're saying we're arguing semantics.
At this point in time, yes.
That's a fair point. Got a high school Korean adaptation. Is it an anime? From what I understand, don't they call
the mangas there manguas?
Yeah.
I do know that. I do not know the anime name though.
See what I mean? Different coaches call it a different thing, but it's the same thing overall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, somebody mentioned like the Marvel anime. God, high school was about the Marvel animes because they got like I know they got the Wolverine now, which is pretty
good.
dope.
It's good.
It's pretty dope.
It's
Not gonna
good.
lie. I mean, I would call it an anime because it's essentially like, oh, this is the Wolverine Origins anime. You know what I'm saying? So,
I said, I believe that if it's in the art style and or if the creator said yes, I do count as an anime, then yeah, like we can count it as anime. I think once everyone starts hearing the term like, oh, this ain't a cartoon, it's an anime, and like it's constantly spread, then that show will gain the reputation of anime. Because that's the problem over here. What in the West was like, if we look at this, and it's like, oh, that's a comic book, or oh, that's a cartoon. Unless it's constantly spread around, that like, no, that's an anime, like an American anime. It'll eventually gain the reputation of that.
Wow, that makes sense.
Hey, I was just thinking about this when he said the creator said it was something else. It'd be wild if Oda just all of a sudden just said One Piece was a cartoon. You know how bad the world will melt down about that shit?
I don't think the world will melt down about that.
You know how bad people will be.
I think people will be mad. I know this is going off topic, but I think people will get mad if they find out One Piece wasn't really worth it. It's just like it's nothing that major. Like it's not even like a huge like gold or anything, like nothing major. It's just like, I don't know, a little sticker, just something stupid, and everyone just goes, "Yep, we had 1,000 chapters for this."
Sick.
Yeah, actually sick.
Somebody said that the Boondocks was actually an American comic before it was made into like an anime and whatnot. So that is a fair point. But Aaron Magruder, he really liked anime, so a lot of stuff he just got inspired by was just from different animes he watched. God of High School is a manga, but is still anime. Mm-hmm. Fair point.
That's what they're classifying it as.
Huh?
I was just saying that's what they're classifying it as. If they want to classify it as that, that's fine. If that, like, I'm not too into the Korean culture and the Korean mangas, the manhwas, or whatever they call them, or I'm not really into that level of entertainment over in the animation field over there. So whatever they call it over there, I'm just gonna go with it.
Okay, I got a different question. So if we're talking about like animation style, because it's really what like is supposed to be different. What about CGI?
Depends on the studio.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because is Ruby's considered like is it anime, right? Or what is that?
Ruby.
I think Ruby's anime.
Isn't the Rooster Teeth an American company?
I'm not sure.
Ruby. See, I'm trying to think about what Ruby is. That's the thing. I don't think I've ever seen Ruby.
Fair points. It's like a CGI, like I guess anime, made by Rooster Teeth, and so at first their animation and stuff for it was really like low tier. It's gotten better over time, but my thing is if it's based on like animation style, just it was made in Japan or whatever, like just what does CGI like go from? Because when you're talking about like cartoons, they go say just like they just create the characters are just different, like different strokes, versus whatever. So I don't know. I just feel like, in my opinion, if it boils down to just it has all these factors. Like even Avatar has a beach episode, and everybody's like, oh, it has a beach episode, therefore it's anime. But all animes gotta have a beach episode. Fair. They have some like the way their facial expressions, like if they're like mad or something like that, they have different effects. They have like anime based effects. But I don't know. I just feel like at the end of the day, it just depends on like if it comes down to it, it just depends on what the creator says. That's just me though.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
So
it comes down what the critter says.
Facts. So with that being said, does anybody have anything else to say in the comments? Any want to voice their opinions? The Boondocks is an anime. I call it anime, or at least a fusion or something. You know what I'm saying?
But yeah, I'll say it's probably a good fusion.
Yeah.
I would say it's a fusion too, because like when I think of the Boondocks, it was I think of it as a cartoon, but it has influences, and it's like it's not. I can't call it a cartoon or anime, but I can call it something new.
For sure.
But I don't know what that new thing is called, but it's definitely a mix of the two.
We call it a mutt.
God dang.
Yes, I'm pretty sure that's what we call them when they're mixed. All right, so just
Any questions? Questions.
Any question? I was gonna say. All right. Just last thing. So Chris, Avatar, anime or no?
Avatar, cartoon, heavily based off of Asian cultures, heavily themed off of animation styles, but I still consider it a cartoon.
Juwan, what'd you say?
Cartoon, but I'm leaning more towards it being a fusion, like Boondocks was.
Fair points. Leo?
Yeah, I'll say a fusion.
Ooh, I like it. All right, I agree. I'm gonna call it a cartoon. If you call it anime, I'm not gonna trip. But personally, I feel like most anime gatekeeping is culturally and racially driven, which I get. But when it comes to Black anime inspired stuff, gatekeeping seems low key disrespectful when considering appropriation of Black culture by Asian people. Facts.
That's facts.
Samurai Champloo. Facts. But anyway,
Samurai Champloo is beautiful.
It is.
Yeah. Yeah, that's our time.
Oh.
Friends on a Rampage.
Y'all have a beautiful day. Y'all have a good one.
Y'all have a nice event.
Nice.